All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Gaming and Wrestling Experience. I am your host, Mario. I have two special guests with me. I have my cousin Lalo,
What's up?
and I have my friend Andreas.
Hi, how's it going?
She's a little wave. I just want to say welcome, guys, back to the show. This is episode number 21. This is amazing. We got some hot topics. We're gonna talk about the Undertaker streak. We're gonna have our opinions about it. We pretty much have pretty much opinions, pretty much opinions about that. Which my cousin Lalo pretty much have good opinions. I'm kind of curious of what Lalo has to say with his opinions. We're gonna talk about Sting signing with AEW, him showing up, signing a multi-year contract with AEW, not pretty much knowing what that is or that's in detailing. And wrestling companies are pretty much coming together. But let's go ahead and get to episode 21, guys. Let's get into it.
Let's do it. First topic.
All right, everybody. First topic. Wow. It's been a crazy week. How would you guys' Thanksgiving?
It was good, man. We got to spend time with the family, as always, and more friends to add on to it. It was good. Good turnout.
Lalo?
Yeah, we just stayed
after
home.
After a crazy year. I hope everyone stayed too out there.
Right.
Yeah, man, we just stayed home, and my mother-in-law cooked everything from scratch. Like literally, she started the day before and started making like the rolls and the pie and everything like that, and then like
nice.
the whole So we had a nice from scratch meal. Yeah, we had green bean casserole, mashed potatoes, and stuffing and turkey, and she made a pecan pie from scratch and all the rolls and her own cinnamon butter from scratch.
Ooh,
so
that sounds pretty good.
It was man, she got down. It was good. And like a big ass bowl of gravy to put everything. Put on top of everything.
Yeah,
so it was good. It was a good time.
That's intense.
Yeah, man. She was tired for like 2 days after. I can't even blame her though.
You know what? I gave her props for doing that.
Same.
But yeah, so I can't believe it's already almost Christmas. It's coming and going.
Around the corner.
Yeah, man.
A whole year, man. Hopefully, here future.
Yeah. I was gonna ask you, cousin Lalo. Is there a lockdown in California right now?
Yeah. They started it last night at midnight. So like everything is like closed basically.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So shit got real bad real quick, and bars are closed, salons are closed, restaurants are closed except for like takeout. There can only be so many people in a store at a time. So everything's pretty quiet. Well, relatively quiet. People still don't give a shit, but I mean, everything's locked down. We've been living the isolation life literally since March 13th, which is a Friday. That was the day that everything shut down. Like our school shut down, our work shut down, everything closed. So
pretty much like 9 months. Oh, like 9 months, pretty much.
We haven't done shit in 9 months, man. Like, except get food and go to the store. That's it. Like, we haven't gone anywhere. We haven't done anything. And we've had birthdays in quarantine. We've had graduations in quarantine. And, like, my birthday's coming up, so we'll be here in isolation because everything will be closed still. But, we haven't gotten sick, so that's knock on wood. People around us have gotten sick, and we haven't gotten it, though. So,
prayers.
What it is.
Prayers,
our uncle and aunt actually got COVID. Mine and Mario's uncle and aunt, Uncle Mickey and Auntie Josie, are in the hospital right now with COVID.
Oh, I know. I heard that.
Yeah. So they're in it right now, and my brother-in-law, his grandpa died from it, and then my sister, her mother-in-law's best friend has it, and it's fucked up. Yeah, it's all fucked up all the way around, man. So I'd rather just be safe though than sorry.
Yeah, no. Prayers to everyone. Well, to you and Mario's family. You know what I mean? First,
I appreciate it.
Everyone listening. It's crazy times, man.
Yeah, it is. My daughter, I have two. One of them's in college right now, and the other one's in high school. So my oldest daughter didn't get a real graduation. They did a drive-through. She missed her prom. She is doing college online, and then my youngest one, she got her half of her freshman year got cut out because of it. So now she's online, and then I'm a teacher, so like I'm doing everything from home. That's why I have a map behind me, because I teach from home. So you know, it is what it is. I'm lucky though. I'm lucky to have a job. I'm lucky to be safe. And
no, of course.
I got a pile of toilet paper next to me and a shit ton of top ramen, so I'm fucking good, man.
You've been ready for the life.
Hell yeah, dude, I'm good. I'm ready for it. Like, put me in my ham for a month. I'll be fine. I got cup of noodles and toilet paper.
Right. That's crazy, man.
Yeah. No, because because my mom told me about about Mike and Josie, and and I was like, oh, excuse my language, but I was like, oh shit, and so I guess they send them home or whatever. But that's good, they went home, and I guess they kept Auntie Josie for a little while because of her heart rate was too high. But I haven't heard anything. Have you heard anything so far? Because I haven't heard it. I mean, I like last time I heard something. James was telling me that that they were at home. And
yeah, I'm actually texting my mom right now just to see if she has any updates. But the last I heard, they were getting their antibiotics and all that shit. So hopefully they'll be okay.
And hopefully,
it sucks, though.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, I mean, I hope they get these these freaking vaccines, fucking going.
Are you guys gonna take it?
I'm not gonna take it right away, just because
I'm not taking it.
If they forced it through that quick, I don't know that they got it right. Like I'll wait and see how many people like grow 3 arms and 6 eyes and whatnot.
Be smarter or opposite.
Yeah, I'll take it after I see that it's safe, but not right away. I want to wait and see, make sure everybody's good with it first.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, this pandemic, man. I was hoping it was getting better, but shit's is breaking out even worse. I know it's pretty much a side topic right now. This is pretty much a hot topic as well. As COVID's getting, instead of better, it's getting worse.
There's always time for this kind of talk, man.
Oh yeah.
Times are crazy right now, bro.
Yeah, I don't see 2021 getting any better.
No, it will.
Sounds getting worse.
It will.
No, I know it will, but just not right now. Not right now. Not right now. Sooner, hopefully.
January will be the same as December, and then it'll start getting better, though.
I hope so.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah. No, I mean, I just hope that there are families doing okay with that. Just sucks, man. I mean, just I just hope they can fight it and they can get through it.
Yeah.
But right. But let's go. Yeah, let's go. Okay. Well, I'm kind of, I'm really interested in my cousin Lalo. I want to get yours, sir. You're the special guest on the show. I want to, since you had a lot to say on the last podcast we did, and you said you had a lot to say about the streak or any topic you want to go ahead and hit. Please let everybody know your opinions. I'm really interested. I'm really interested what you have to say. I'm pretty much on the boat with you anyway. We're like me, pretty much on the same page. But man, go ahead and give me your thoughts about the Undertaker streak. Should he lost it to Brock Lesnar, or should he kept it? Go ahead, cousin. Go ahead. You have the floor.
Honestly, I don't think that he should have lost it to Brock Lesnar. I don't think that it should have ended ever. Taker's one of those dudes that, like, he's solid. Like, he may not have always been the best wrestler when he got older. He may not have always been as fast or as strong as he was, but he was one of those guys you could always count on. You know what I mean? Like, everyone has that dude at work, you know what I mean? Or that girl at work that's just like, if I go to them, shit's going to get done. I don't have to worry about it. I'm
always in contention.
Exactly. You know what I mean? Always that one person that is just solid, and that was him. And I get that he was always down to do business right. You know, that's one of those things in the business that you learn when you're in it, is that you always do what's right for the business, because if you take
Right.
care of the business will take care of you.
Right.
So he knew that ultimately whoever took the streak away from him was going to get that big bump and, get that big push. I don't think it should have gone to a part-timer like Lesnar, because he didn't need it.
Right.
When it came down to it, he was a big enough draw on his own that he didn't need that push. Somebody else should have gotten it. You don't want to give it to a guy like Cena because he doesn't need it. You know what I mean? It's
Right.
just like when you have someone who needs a manager. If you ever look at a person with a manager, it's because they can't fucking talk. That's what managers
Right.
are there for. Because the wrestler can't say shit. They have zero mic skills. They just look intimidating. Like
Right.
who was it? Jack Swagger. He couldn't talk for shit on the
No,
mic. You know what I mean? He couldn't
right.
say. His promos were dog shit. But when he got Zeb Coulter, who's Dutch Mantel, that's when he got better. That's when he got over. You know what I mean? Because somebody could talk for him.
Right.
When, like, if you go old school, you get guys like Andre the Giant. He couldn't talk. He had a really thick accent. He couldn't speak.
Right.
So they put Bobby the Brain Heenan with him.
Right.
That's when he got better. You know what I mean?
Right.
And for someone like Lesnar, he doesn't have good promo skills, so they put Paul Heyman with him.
Right.
So they give him that tool of Paul Heyman. He has that reputation from UFC. He's got his previous reputation from the WWE. He didn't need it, and I think he was the completely wrong guy to break the streak. I mean, if you think about it now, the only time people talk about the streak is when people talk about how pissed off they are
Right.
that it ended. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's never like, oh yeah, Brock Lesnar is so much better now because he broke the streak. No, it's just because who the fuck was he to break the streak? He didn't deserve it. That's my
Right.
opinion. I don't think that he should have broken the streak. I don't think that he should have been the guy to do it. And again, Taker knows more about the business than I ever will. So he obviously saw a reason to do it. I just don't think as someone who was around who's been around in the business and who has the insight that I do, and as a fan, I don't think that Lesnar should have been the guy to break the streak, and I don't think the streak should have ever been broken.
You know what? I totally agree with you. If you I just seen last week the Broken Skull podcast with Steve Austin on the WWE Network. It's called I think it was called one more. Um, it's called the Broken Skull session. One more round, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
And Undertaker said that he pretty much said what you said, that that Brock Lesnar didn't need it. Taker said that Roman Reigns needed it more than Brock Lesnar at the time.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess Vince didn't see it that way at that time. But the Undertaker, Mark Calloway, said that Brock Lesnar didn't really need it as well either. But Vince is like, okay, well, all right, well, go ahead, well, just go ahead and go ahead and Brock Lesnar, go ahead and give it to him. And of course, Undertaker is a straight hard, straight shooter. So he doesn't argue with him. He doesn't really try. He gives his opinions or whatever. But either way, he still does what what the big man says. Just that respect they have for each other is probably It's probably just unbelievable respect for each other. I pretty much would say that, which I can see on the camera once they show a lot of backstage stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, I pretty much agree with what you said, and what Undertaker said too. Yeah, he wanted to give it to Roman Reigns, but I guess at the time it didn't happen. Um, but but yeah, I don't think he should have lost it either. I think he should have just kept it, because that was pretty much his legacy. Um, and so um, and so so yeah, so yeah, I think he just should have kept it. Do you have one or two favorite matches of the Undertaker that stands out to you?
Yeah, there's a couple actually. The worst match I've ever seen of the Undertaker's was, I believe it was WrestleMania 13 between him and Giant Gonzalez. because that was just a dude who couldn't wrestle for shit.
At Las Vegas.
In Las Vegas, the dude couldn't wrestle for shit. He had dog shit gear. Like he was just the drizzly shits. Like he was human diarrhea. You know, he was worthless. It was just another tall dude wrestling against Taker, and Taker did his, like you said, Taker does business. He knows how to do business, and he knew that Vince said this is how it's going to go. This is going to sell tickets, and he's like, yeah, man, I'll do it. And it just fucking horrible. It's trash. But the best match I've ever seen of Undertaker's was WrestleMania with him and HBK.
Oh,
That's the best, by far and away. The first one, not their second one, their first one.
the first one.
The far and away the best WrestleMania match period I've ever seen in my life. That was WrestleMania 25, and it's cool because I watched it live on pay-per-view, and I remember just being like in awe of it. And then I didn't realize it, but later on in life, I would get to work with the referee of that match, Marty Elias, and Marty's a good dude. He's always been cool to me. He's always been friendly to me. Always been a cool guy to listen to. And one of his biggest things is, man, brother, I was the fucking referee in that match, man. I was the fucking referee in that match, And he has a Slammy award. He got a Slammy because he was in the match, And he I remember when he got it, he would carry the fucker around whenever he would be around. Like, look at me, I'm a Slammy award referee. Yeah, Marty, fuck, man, we know, dude. Okay, we get it. But that was the best Undertaker match I've ever seen in my entire life. From, just from start to finish, literally from the moment they both entered with their ring entrances and their gear to the minute that they left. It was just all the way around. And it was funny because that match went over. You're only allotted a certain amount of time when you're on TV.
Right.
And Marty was like, they're in my fucking ear, guys. You got to go home. You got to go home. And they're tired. They're like, fuck you. We're not done yet. And so they went over. So Marty told me they were the only guys who never got heat in the back for going over. Hey, sorry, my dog's.
No, it's
barking.
Okay. It's all good.
But they didn't get any heat. They went to the back, and Vince told them, he was like, you know what? Fuck it. I don't even care if we cut 10 minutes from everybody's matches. You went over, but it was a hell of a match, and it was exactly what I needed and what you guys did. So he didn't even give a shit that they went over and got heat for it, or didn't get no heat for it. So it was all good.
Yeah. We kind of lost Andreas. I already told him just to go ahead and re-enter the same email. So we lost him for a second. He said he'll be back on for a second.
Right on.
But yeah, man, I would say, let me see. Let's see. Damn, so many. I would have to say one of my top ones is with Undertaker and Mankind in the Hell in a Cell.
Mm-hmm.
When he threw him off Hell in a Cell and choke slammed him through the Hell in a Cell.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you watch the episode that I said, the Undertaker said that right there when he threw him off, the fucking cage,
Mm-hmm.
that wasn't in the script.
Yeah.
So Taker said that when they were up there, doing their thing, and they were like, saying, Taker was like, no, go ahead and do it, and Mark was like, what? Like they're up there, like you can't really tell what they're doing in there, and he freaking did it, and he threw him, and Undertaker was like, he was just pretty much shocked and suspense when he seen that, because he said when he's looking from on top,
Mm-hmm.
it looked like he'd foul forever.
Yeah.
And so and then even the choke slam wasn't supposed to happen either.
Mm-hmm.
And so when that happened, when he choke slammed him, and went through the Hell in a Cell, Undertaker was waiting. The time that you see him wait, once
Mm-hmm.
he falls through the Hell in a Cell, the Undertaker was saying that he was pretty much waiting for him to move. He was pretty much scared, but still in
Mm-hmm.
character, saying like, man, I hope you move, please. And cousin, you have to really watch that. It's really good. If you don't have it, I'll give you I'll give you the info,
Okay.
so you can watch it if you want. But yeah, so he was pretty much just in character and saying, please get up, let me see, please,
Mhm.
let me please see some movement, at least a leg or a limb or something. And so
Mhm.
once he did, and he was pretty much just relieved a little bit, um, uh, he was pretty much relieved, um, that he moved for a second, and then that was pretty much one of the highlights that I loved, and crazy, freaking crazy.
Mhm.
Back in our day when we actually watched it, when it was actually to watch, and you didn't know what was going to happen when we watched it back in the day. It was pretty
Mhm.
much every Monday, every SmackDown was pretty much, I wonder what's going to happen. Of
Mhm.
course, it was so different back then. There wasn't no internet. There wasn't leaks. There wasn't speculations or Twitter or Facebook or anything at the time back in our day. It was pretty much waiting until next week.
Yeah.
So I pretty much miss those days where, um, I don't like knowing through social media anymore. I don't like it. Um, it pretty much messes up the suspense of wrestling.
Yeah.
Um, but um, but yeah, that was pretty much my pretty much favorite match. But yeah, I did want to see Sting and Undertaker. I did wanted to see that.
Mhm.
I did want to see that match, but it didn't happen. Is there a match you wanted to see, with Undertaker that he didn't fight yet before he retired?
Everybody says Sting Taker. I think that would have been a good one. Um, there's so many guys that came in. Um, I honestly would have loved to see Taker Samoa Joe, just
Oh
because
yes, that's
you
good. That's
get
good.
like Taker, like Samoa Joe's the nicest guy in the world, by the way. I met his trainer Red, Cincinnati Red, who's passed away, and he was my mentor in the business. He one of the Red was the coolest dude you'll ever meet, or he was the biggest asshole you'd ever meet. Um, and he was an indie guy out here in SoCal, and he trained Joe coming up. And I remember when I got to meet Joe, he was the nicest fucking guy in the world. And the way that he worked, he was just so, he's a big guy,
Right.
and for a big guy to work like that is great. So I would have loved to see that, because it was, Taker, who could just brawl. You know what I mean? He wasn't technically great anymore when he got older, especially when Samoa Joe came in. So he wasn't gonna, go hold to hold, but he was gonna brawl with you. But Joe could go hold to hold. He could brawl with you, and so I just think that the two styles would have been really good to see together. That one would have been really, really good to see. But obviously, you never get to see that. And then let's see, who else? Who else? Like guys in their heyday, um, like from WWE, I would have loved to see, or WCW, excuse me. I would have liked to see like Booker T, when he was at his best in WCW,
Right.
go with Taker.
That's
That would,
pretty interesting.
yeah, because I mean, you get that little Apollo Creed versus Rocky Balboa, or you remember Rocky Four, Rocky Balboa versus or Apollo Creed versus Ivan Drago?
Right.
That's
Yeah.
how I see the match going. I see, Booker doing his little flashy shit, and then I see Taker just like, fuck you. And you know what I mean? Like that one would have been interesting to me. Um, let's see what else. Because and the cool thing is Taker goes over so many different eras. Like now, I would have loved to see Taker going against somebody like Johnny Gargano. I think
Oh,
that'd have been a cool match. You know what I mean? Because
that would be.
because if you remember when Taker went up against Jeff Hardy, that was two completely different guys, two styles, two different weight classes basically. So to
Right.
see Gargano go up against him would have been really, really cool too. Um, and then um, God, there's one other one, it's on the tip of my tongue right now. But definitely those ones for sure would have been it. If I get to it, if I remember it, I'll let you know. But those ones for sure would have been the
Okay.
better matchups, in my opinion. Some dope ones to see.
Yeah. Yeah. I couldn't agree with you more. Yeah. Did you like the AJ Styles and Undertaker, kind of a cinematic match? Like, did you like that
Yeah,
match?
it was different. You know what I mean? Wrestling has to evolve. It has to change. It can't just stay the same. The same thing. You know what I mean? I have friends of mine that work in wrestling still, and they work in those in a studio. They do the studio wrestling. And to me, that can be good and it can be bad. It just depends on the type of wrestling. But when you see that cinematic kind of like, oh shit, you have to remember who the young kids are now, because remember, wrestling is for the younger kids. Us older guys, we're on that tail end of where we either stop watching wrestling or they don't cater to us anymore. But you get the young kids who are used to watching the Marvel movies. They're used to watching, the Harry Potter movies. They're used to watching UFC where it looks real. You know what I mean? And then
Right.
the cinematic approach to everything is something you have to have. And I think that match worked well because of that. And when you have a character like Undertaker, who is the badass, supernatural guy, you have to incorporate something like that, especially in a pandemic where you don't have fans to feed off of it.
Right.
And that's the hardest thing about wrestling, is that because it's live, it's like going to a Broadway show. You feed off the crowd. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
I can tell you honestly, there's nothing like stepping through the curtain. Like stepping through the curtain and hearing the crowd pop, even if it's
Right.
not for you, but you hear it and you're a part of it. You feel that energy. When I used to ref, you used to count a little harder for those big matches when the crowd's into it.
Oh yeah.
Another 1, 2, and then you're like, no, two.
Right.
You look at someone in the audience who's like, fuck you, ref, and you're like, no, two. It's only two. It's
Right.
only two. You know what I mean? And
Man, because
then
I can't imagine it. I'm pretty sure what you went through, man, was just amazing fucking experience. I'm so jealous. I'm just so jealous. Um, but I'm so happy for you in the same in the
yeah,
same way.
man, it was
Um,
fun, dude. Like, I mean, it's not, the business is very um it'll chew you up, man. It really will. Like, you have to understand that it's good and bad. You know what I mean? And
right. Right.
for all the good shit, I had bad shit that happened. So it's like, it's tough to tell people, to go into the business, because it can be hard. You see the movie
Right.
The Rest, and
Yes.
it's funny, when I saw that, I was sad because I saw them old timers who would come in with their fucking broke dick suitcase that only had one wheel. They had their old gear that they were stapling together because they couldn't sew it, or they couldn't afford to get new gear. And you see the guys that take the pills and the drink the booze and all that shit to try to get going. But then it's like, in the movie, the Mickey Rourke's character says, when I step through that curtain, I don't feel any pain. And it's true. When I was in the business, man, I was going through some tough shit. And when I would go through the curtain, or when I'd get to the show, it all went away. You know what I mean? It was like, here we go, we're performing, we're gonna get on the mic, we're gonna do our commentary, and it was fun, it was great, and it was a good escape. But it's tough, man. Like, that business, it'll kick your ass. You know what I mean? If you're not ready for it, or you're not in it 100%, or even if you are in 100% and you're too focused on making it, it'll kick your ass, man. It did to me. Like, honestly, it really did to me. And I'm glad I got to do it, and I'm glad I got to be a part of it, and I still love it. And part of me is like, man, maybe one more go. And then I'm like, nah, I'm done. I'm an old man now. I'm not an old man. I'm only 38, but
Cousin, you're not old man, dude. You are not an old man.
but it's just
We're still in
you
our prime,
realize,
homie.
yeah,
We're still in
you
our
realize,
prime.
yeah, you just realize that that's a young man's game. You know what I mean? Like, I got kids, that are older. My oldest is in college, my youngest is a sophomore, and it's, you realize that it's time to move on and take care of them. And you have your time, you have your shot, and if you don't make it by a certain age with a family, you ain't gonna make it. So
Right.
it was fun, it was great, and I got cool shit stories to tell, man. I can go on for days, but it's a tough business. It's a tough business. So for someone like Taker to have lasted so fucking long and stayed popular so long, to where he can make $1 million a match, then he's doing it right.
Yeah, he is. You know, have you seen any? I mean, did you watch any of the Undertaker's thing that's out at all? Like, do you watch anything since since he came out with the Undertaker, the Last Ride. Have you watched any of that stuff yet?
No, I haven't watched any of the documentary. Just with the teaching and the pandemic and everything, most people have time to do that shit. I have hard time trying to sit and watch it. And then
So when is
I
your
do
last
want to watch
days
it.
of teaching? I'm sorry. And when is Christmas vacation coming up for you?
Oh, it's coming up, so I'll have time to do it soon. So it's just in between though, it's tough, man. Like
Mm,
people don't get how busy you are as a teacher, especially virtually. It's hard. You gotta,
I believe
for
it.
those people those of you who people were teachers, they have to change everything they had. So like you can have all your lessons in a file cabinet with all your handouts and your worksheets, but I can't give you a worksheet, cousin, because you're in Arizona over the computer. You know what I mean?
Right.
Down the street, there's a fucking pandemic. Oh, excuse me, I don't want to go and get you sick.
Right.
So you got to change everything to make it work digitally, and then find a way to give it to the kids who don't have a computer, and then the kids who do have a computer. Excuse me again. It's just crazy. But I do want to watch it just because, Taker was one of those dudes that you watch growing up, and you actually like and you want to see all the time. You know what I mean? Like every time he could have a match, I'd be like, babe, Taker's wrestling. Should we get WrestleMania? What do you think? Yeah, he's back.
Right. Right.
So luckily she was a fan, so it would work more
Oh.
times than not. But
Oh, that
yeah.
would be awesome. Yeah, you know what? I think there's a way. Um, what would be awesome is that me and you can watch it like
Mhm.
this, and our reactions watching it while drinking, or just not, or not, or you don't have to
Just
drink. But I'm just saying, like, we can
mhm.
still do it how we do it right now, and just enjoy watching
Yeah,
it together. That would be sick.
yeah, I'd totally
Um,
be down with that.
um,
If you figure it out, man, I'm down.
okay, all right. I'll definitely look into that. Which I think, since you brought that up, about, I just found a way right now. I just found a way, but I won't be able to record the session because of the copyrights.
Yeah,
But it'll still be awesome, just us just getting together and watching it.
mhm.
That would pretty much be awesome, to do that. Um, maybe when whenever your break starts, we can actually watch, whatever you want to watch. If you want to watch the Broken Skull sessions first, or we can
Mhm.
watch the Last Ride. Whatever you want to do, it's up to you. I'll give you the keys. You just tell me where to go and what to watch, and we'll watch it together.
Yeah, man, I'm down.
All right. You just let me know when you get a chance, and start that break.
For sure.
Um, mm. I just want to say, in all seriousness, that me and you, that our hearts go out to Pat Patterson that just passed away.
Yeah.
Did you ever get to meet Pat Patterson, by the way?
Never got to meet Pat. That was the dude I never got to meet. I've met a lot of people that always had good things to say about Pat. One of the things I always said, he was a straight shooter, but he was always willing to help. So he would sit there and tell you, you know what, brother, you were for shit today. You fucking suck. You stunk the place up. You don't deserve to wear boots. But here's how you can fix it. So he was good like that. He didn't have a problem with telling you how it was, from what I understand. I mean, a lot of guys knew him and that I worked with, and they always had the best things to say about him. And he was openly gay, but it never was a
Right.
big deal. It was never
Right.
like a problem, and never was anything to any of the boys in the back. And I think that's something that people should understand about him, was that even though he was gay, it wasn't what made him. You know what I mean? He was one of the boys still. No matter what, he was one of the boys first.
Right.
Not, oh, that's Pat Patterson, he's gay. It was, that's Pat Patterson. He'll fuck you up. He'll kick your ass. He'll tell you what the truth is. He'll make you better. You know what I mean? So I think that's always a big thing to say, is that, he was a good person first and foremost, from everyone I ever spoke to that had dealing with him. And I
Right.
wish I'd have met him, because when we were kids, he was always on with Gerald Briscoe
Right.
on Monday Night Raw.
Right.
Always the Stooges. You know what I mean? So
Right.
he was one I wish I could have met.
Yeah. Just want to say, to all the podcast listeners out there, that our hearts go out to him and his family. Um, if he has any family, our hearts, and our condolences goes to their families. I heard nothing but good things about about him. Didn't know him, but just watched him when we were young, on TV. But I heard nothing but good things anyway. I was seeing a lot of stuff they were sharing on social media, um, and stuff like that. So that was really cool. But yeah, our hearts go out to Pat Patterson, and Matt. Just a glorious mind. For what I've seen on the network and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Just he was a straight shooter, a straight shooter, like you said. He loved singing karaoke. Um, he used to I just seen on, I think it was on YouTube, that he used to sing Frank Sinatra. I did it my way.
Nice.
So that was a really nice thing. But yeah, hearts go out to them. Um, and there never be another one like Pat Patterson, um, of the mines.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, I'm very sad. Everybody's going. Everybody's passing away. Sadly, but people were just going left and right.
Mm-hmm.
Mm. Um, but yeah, and so the Undertaker. Yeah, dude. You know what? Since we have just want a quick question. So how much time do we have with you, sir?
We got about another good half hour easy.
Okay, all right. All right. So let's see. You know what? Let's go and talk about the biggest topic that's going around social media right now. Sting signing a multi year contract with AEW. Uh, it was shocking. I thought he was never coming back to wrestling for a while since what happened to him. But it was amazing when he showed up on AEW. And I didn't, you know what? I don't really watch AEW. But I see they got fans inside the stadiums, um, which is awesome. I know WWE is really really strict on their safety, not doing it that way. Man, that'd be so awesome if they did it. But I know how really safe they are. Really really safe they are. But cousin, I would like to get your reaction about Steen coming back to AEW. Your thoughts, and your opinions about it. Go ahead.
So Sting has always been like one of the guys that I'm like either really big on or I'm really like whatever about. You know what I mean? Um he did his regular, babyface gimmick forever, and he was just whatever to me then. It was just, I didn't do anything for me,
Really, really.
Yeah, I was never a big Sting fan. It wasn't until he had his heel turn in WCW with the NWO, which was huge, and you were a huge fan of when we were kids.
Right.
You were more WCW than you were WWE when we were kids.
Right.
But when he made his heel turn, I was like, okay, that's cool. I can dig this. Let's see where it goes, And I think that's something that has to happen when you have a guy like that, because, you can only do so much with the good guy. You know what I mean? People
Right.
don't like the good guy that much. The plain Jane, just, like Hulk Hogan, take your prayers, say your prayers, take your vitamins, drink your milk, bullshit, whatever. Nobody likes that. Like everybody fucking hates. I fucking hate Hulk Hogan. I think he's one of the biggest pieces of dog shit ever wrestling. I fucking hate Hulk Hogan. So sorry to all your fans who like him. Fuck him. He sucks.
No, man. No. This is the gaming wrestling experience, man. We have our opinions, we have our says. I'm pretty sure, we all have everybody likes him, everybody doesn't. How he is, the Macho Man never liked Hulk Hogan, and because he's seen how he was, and I was a big fan of the Macho Man Randy Savage, and I don't not disagree with the Macho Man Randy Savage, because I know how he was. Saying, he was saying, yeah, Hulk's a punk, just saying, he on YouTube, he has a couple videos, I guess way before he passed away, when he was making a rap CD, which is hilarious. I don't know if you knew about the rap CD or thing he was doing, but yeah, he talked a lot. He talked a lot about a lot of wrestlers in the company, and how Hogan was a punk, and all this freaking trash he was talking Hulk Hogan, and man, you know what? And I don't know Hulk Hogan personally, but if everybody's saying how a punk he was, and he didn't really care for kids so much, and I believe it. If if a lot of people talking about a certain as a quote from God dang it, what's the comic's name? I was gonna say Mike Epps. No. Oh my God, Pimpin' Pippin from Friday. What's his name, cousin? From Pimpin' Pippin from Friday After Next.
Um,
Dang
Cat
it.
Williams.
There you
Cat
go.
Williams.
There you go. Cat Williams. He did a podcast. I mean, excuse me, a podcast. He did a stand up on Netflix or on DVD. I think it's still on Netflix, when he talks about, if a lot of people talk a lot of shit about you, if Whitney Houston was smoking crack at the time, and a lot of people are saying, she was smoking crack. She was smoking crack. Just his saying at the time back in the day. A lot of people don't talk a lot about you if it's not true,
Mm-hmm.
which it is true. So it's pretty much saying Hulk Hogan. A lot of people knowing how he is, that's how he was.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, he pretty much. I'm pretty sure he was a business guy, but then um, whatever how he did business wasn't always the right decision, supposedly.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, just like you were saying, yeah, he's a piece of shit or whatever. I can see that. Now I don't know. I don't know if he does regret it. I really hope he does regret everything of what he did back then or how he was. I don't know. I just hope he has clarity now being older. Excuse me. But yeah. So yeah. But yeah. Sting. Dude, Sting's 61 years old, man. He doesn't look 61 years old.
No, he's got a good look to him still. Like, he still looks like he can probably go. But 61, man, you can't do much. And
Yeah.
I think that you sign a guy like that not because of what he can do in the ring, but what he can bring to the company. You get the curiosity factor of it. First and foremost, like, what the fuck, Sting? He's alive, A.
Right.
B, what the hell is he going to do? So you bring him in to get people to watch that first show. And he didn't do anything. He just had that appearance. Maybe the next show he does something a little more and a little more. And I'm sure eventually he'll have to do, work a match or get a little physical or something. But, in the meantime, though, like, it's more like, what is this going to lead to? Where is this going to go? How is it going to work? You know what I mean?
Right.
So I don't know how. I can't argue with the idea behind it, and I'm sure that AEW knows what they're doing. Obviously, they're still in business, and they got money. They have some smart people. Like I said, I know the Young Bucks personally. I've worked with them in the past, and I got to hang out with them. Do a little work on the road with them, and they know how to get a crowd and pop them. You know what I mean? I know that certain people don't like them, and as far as the wrestling goes, but I know that they know what they're doing. They could not sell out arenas all over the world, and they could not get people to want to watch their shows or their work if they didn't know what they were doing. So I'm sure that them and Cody Rhodes,
and Tony Khan,
and Tony Khan, they Kenny Omega, they know how this is going to work. They know how to appeal to a broader audience than just people who are looking for a good guy and a bad guy. So I'm sure something is going to work itself out. What it is, though, I don't know. I don't know exactly how it's going to, finish out. But I'm looking forward to reading about it and seeing what's up.
Yeah, I wasn't a big fan of AEW. Not because I don't know what's going on, but just because I don't really know a lot of people except for Chris Jericho, and Goldust, and Cody Rhodes. Excuse me, but besides that, I'm not gonna bash any company because I don't watch AEW. But once I seen Sting on AEW, it brought me back to interest. No, not back because I never watched it, but interested of watching AEW now. Where is this gonna lead to the company now? Sting is back on TNT, where WCW was, He was the WCW franchise, and now he's a Hall of Famer. Um, so it's just and him signing a multi-year contract doesn't mean he's gonna be in the ring. I don't think, in my mind, I'm thinking it's pretty much gonna be just how he was in WCW, like showing up appearances here and there, maybe hitting a couple whacks with the bat, like he did from the NWO, and then leaving or whatever. But I know he can't do so much. I don't know how good condition he is since the last match he had in WWE at Night of Champions against Seth Rollins. Um, in my opinion, when I seen that match, when he did that power bomb towards a turnbuckle, in my opinion, that's a pretty much dangerous move to do on anybody, um, especially on on a on Sting for how old he was. Um, I don't blame Seth Rollins as a fan, but I think he should have been done in the first place. Because that move right there is a kind of a risky 50-50 um, uh, up and power bomb towards the corner, throwing you in the corner. Doesn't seem like it's fucking safe.
Yeah.
Cause when you're getting thrown back into the ring, your neck, it just, you can't hold gravity when somebody throws you in the corner of a turnbuckle, which I'm thinking anyway. It's air. We can't stop gravity. Do I blame Seth Rollins? No. But I think as a fan that he shouldn't have done it. I wish, hopefully, in the long run, that he stops doing that because he can hurt people. I know Sting doesn't blame Seth Rollins. What he said. To a point, I do, and as a fan of me, I do blame him for doing it. Which I know that most of the time that things like that don't happen, but it's wrestling. Shit happens. But I mean, if I was Seth Rollins and I was, as a fan anyway, if I was fighting Sting, and I know that he has a little bit of age over me, I'm not gonna do some crazy move that's gonna be dangerous in a way to throw him like that anyway. I don't know if you agree with me, but I that's a pretty much dangerous move to do. At the time. Um, but do I blame Seth Rollins? I do blame him a little bit for doing that move. I know Sting said that he doesn't blame him, but it is what it is. But I think that's why he never finished in WWE anymore, because they didn't pretty much clear him because of what happened. But now he's in AEW. So that being said, Sting pretty much is a Brock Lesnar, where he can bring in the money, he can bring in the crowd. In that perspective, I'm not saying he is Brock Lesnar, but he is Brock Lesnar in that way as a franchise for what he is. And now, since he's Hall of Famer, it's pretty much a money grabber, and people tuning into AEW now. I'm going to turn into AEW just because I seen Sting. I'm pretty much interested of what's going to happen now. Where I don't know, to be honest, I don't know what the fuck is going on in AEW right now. I don't really know. When I seen it, everybody was fighting and just chilling in the corner. And then he came out, but I'm pretty much pulling out to AEW, so I will pretty much gonna watch AEW now, see what's gonna go on with Sting. But yeah, I'm pretty much gonna be putting out to AEW. Just like pretty much bring me back to WCW days now, since he came back like that. Showing up, I kind of like how he came in through, like, his entrance is like kind of a snow kind of thing, snowy entrance, something different. I know he can't have his own music or whatever because copyrights of with WWE, whatever. But I do like it. It's different now with snow. It's pretty dope. But I don't know if you read anything about the. I'm just hearing a lot of buzz right now with social media about how AEW and Impact are colliding, or their contracts are pretty much inclined for their shows. I'm thinking anyway, Um, can I get your thoughts about that? Do you have anything of any insights of how that goes, cousin? Of they're
Yeah,
starting to do that now?
yeah. So a lot of times when these guys have a contract, they have things signed into them that say you can't work with anybody else. Whether it's no outside appearances, no indie shows, meet and greets, all that shit. It's always written in. Well, with other people, you can negotiate a contract that allows you to go work with other companies or anything like that. So, um, like for example, when TNA first started, which is Impact, but when it was TNA, a lot of the guys that were signed to contracts with TNA used to work with a company called PWG out here in SoCal, and they also work with a company called ROH, Ring of Honor. Well, when they signed with TNA, they were still allowed to wrestle and work for like ROH and PWG, but they could not be on the DVDs because they wrote in the contract that if you worked, you could wrestle the match, but you couldn't be on the DVD because there's money there.
Right, right.
Eventually, they were just like, well, fuck, we can't put you on the DVD. What do we want you here for? You don't make money on the gate, especially in indie wrestling. You don't make, that's not where the money's at because it's, 10, $15 a pop. You only get 200 people show up. You're only making $2,000. You pay out, whatever your salary is for the boys. A really shitty promotion pays 10 to $15 a guy, including referees. So you're only paying like $500 out. You're only making, after you rent the building, you're not making shit. You know what I mean? Like you do it at that level to get exposure and to make a little bit of money if you can. If you do it right, you can make some money. But more times than not, you're making shit.
Right.
But you sell your DVD for $10 a pop. It costs you pennies for the DVD itself.
Right.
You get a guy to do the artwork for free, and then you don't pay him shit, but maybe $5-10. Here, man, here's some exposure. Bullshit like that. And then your DVD case you get in bulk, so you pay 5 cents a pop for that. So your only cost to make a DVD is putting on the show, and it costs you like $1 to make the DVD. So now you're making $9 a pop on every DVD you sell.
Right.
So when you can sell a DVD worth $20, now you're making good money. Well, that's where the contract stuff starts to come in. You don't want to have them sell your DVD because now you're not exclusive to this place. So now they can't sell their DVD or their Blu-ray or whatever it is. They can't stream it, and there's no exclusivity. You know what I mean? Like we know, like for us, for example, we know the only place that you can hear you talk is on your podcast, right?
Right.
So people have to come to your podcast to hear you talk. You know what I mean? But if you start talking about that podcast and that podcast and that podcast, now they don't have to come to you anymore. They can hear you anywhere. So what's the point of coming to your podcast? Now your numbers go down.
Right.
You know what I mean? Now, because, we can hear Cousin Mario anywhere. We don't have to listen to his because he'll talk at, Cousin Joey's or Cousin Bobby's or Cousin Tony's or whatever the fuck.
Right.
And that's where the problems come in. But with AEW, they were able to work it out to where they could do favor basically for both. You can appear on Impact, but I'm sure there's something that they talked about where it's like, well, Kenny Omega will go to Impact, and so will this guy and that guy, but you can't make him look like shit. You can't hit him with a chair. You can't make him, say that AEW sucks. There's all kinds of different stuff.
Right.
In the contract that makes it. So it has to work out for both companies. You'll just see it where one company is going to get everything and one company is going to get nothing. So somehow, some way, they figured it's going to do well, and we'll see what happens. I remember you mentioned earlier Triple H saying like, oh, well now we can work with other people too. But what are they going to get out of it? What's WWE going to get out of working? And that'd be like me and you talking shit on our podcast, and then all of a sudden them WWE like, well, yeah, we want Cousin Mario and Cousin Law to work on our podcast. We're small time guys. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like you said, there's about 300 followers and listeners, which is respectable. WWE's got millions. You know what I mean?
Right.
So now it's like, well, what risk is it to us? Maybe we get there and they make us look like dog shit, and then nobody ever listens to us again.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Then all of a sudden, Cousin Mario's podcast is canceled because fucking WWE decided to do this. Or what if they liked you, and then they signed you over to them, but now you can never do your podcast again. So now Mario's podcast goes away because now he's working with them. You know what I mean?
Which I'm sorry, I'm not gonna say no. Oh man, that would be amazing.
Yeah, exactly. So you see, like you would lose your freedom to do whatever you want to do, and like
Right.
you can sit there and talk all the shit you want, but then if you get signed by the big boy
There's gonna
companies,
be there's gonna be guidelines of what can I say and
yeah,
what can I say.
yeah. Paul
Um,
Heyman did they did a DVD called The Rise and Fall of ECW, where Paul Heyman talked about ECW and how it got started and how it ended up collapsing. And in it, he talks about the first time he was on the live mic with Jim Ross. And Vince was in the ring doing a segment. So he couldn't normally Vince is on the ears and on the mic with you.
of
So
course.
he's in your ears is what they call it. They call it being in your
Right.
ears.
In your ears.
And he's telling you, say this, don't say that, shut the fuck up, go cue this, go do that. It sucks, by the way, because I've had to have people in my ears while I'm talking
Right.
and while I'm commentating when I work for MTV. And so you hear in your ears 5 minutes, camera 2, 5 minutes, camera 3 of this, that, or the other, blah, 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 Lala, make sure you put this over, that was good. Make sure you say this now, this time, all while you're talking, you know what I mean? And it's difficult to do. And so he didn't have Vince in his ear. So he just went off on his own and said some really fucked up shit. And normally that'd have been fine for him at ECW to say whatever he wants. But then
Right.
he gets to WWE and he got his ass chewed for it. And they were like, look, don't fucking do that again. You know what I mean? And he even says, he's like, I kind of got a feeling where I could go. They got a feeling who I was, and I got slapped.
Right.
You know what I mean? So,
Right.
you trade the good money for your freedom. And so that's why a company like AEW appeals to people, because they can make decent money.
Right.
Excuse me. Doing what they love and still have the freedom, to do whatever they want, basically, and wrestle how they want.
Right.
In WWE, you get a list. Here's what you cannot do. Here's what you can do. If you wrestle this third match, you get 5 minutes and you can't do that. How much story can you tell? How much of your own art can you put into it? Because wrestling's art, you know what I mean?
Right.
And if it's like when I was commentating, our guy would, our boss would tell us, man, say what you want, go at it, have fun. And then other times they would be like, hey, look, so, you need to not say this. You need to not say, sorry, cousin, I was just letting my fiance know the mail was here.
No, it's okay. Just before, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, yeah.
Do we have until 5 o'clock or what? Or
like
ish?
4:15, 4:30, roughly.
How?
Like 4:30-ish at the very latest.
Oh yeah. I'm sorry, because it's different. Okay. No, I'm saying because it's different over there right now. Because right now it's 4.
The fucking time zones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because right now it's 4:51.
Okay, then we have until fucking, I don't know, 4:30 my time, roughly.
Okay, 4:30. Okay.
Yeah,
okay, so technically it'll be 5:30 here then.
There you go. Yeah, there you go.
Okay. So 5:30, we're cool until 5:30.
Yeah.
Okay, sweet. Okay, sweet. No, but I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, it's all good. Where the fuck was I?
Talk about the companies.
Yeah. So you get your company telling you, yeah, man, you can say whatever you want. Go ahead, do your thing. Just don't say fuck, don't say shit, don't say bitch. You know what I mean? And that was standard where I worked. The companies I worked in, they were like, yeah, man, do you. You're your own character. That's what we hired you for. Go at it. You provide the color commentary, or you provide the play-by-play. Right. And then when I worked with MTV, they were like, look, you're the heel now. We need you to be the asshole. Know what you're talking about, but your whole thing here is to be funny and be mean. And then when I was done with MTV, I was like, well, now what do I do? Like, I can do both. So companies were like, man, just be who you are. It doesn't matter.
Right, yeah.
So it was me. Like, normal, I talk shit all the time. So it was fine. And I was like, yeah, fuck yeah, man. But still, don't say fuck, don't say shit, don't say bitch. Like, those are the big ones. Don't say those things. If you say those things, we're going to cut you off. And I only ever messed up once, cousin. One time, I don't even know how it happened, but I was commentating a match. And I was like, oh, man, he hit him right in the fucking face. And I was just like, oh. Yeah. I took my mic off and I sat.
And that was during the show? And that was during the show, during commentating?
It was during commentating, and I was like going. I was like, oh, yeah, he's coming off the ropes, and he's going to hit him with this, and he's coming off that, and he's like, oh, and he hits him right in the fucking face. And I just stopped. And my partner looks at me, and I don't know if you're taping this for your fans, but he looks at me like,
Oh yeah,
Like, oh
it's for all
shit!
my
And I
fans on YouTube too. It's gonna be on there
yeah,
pretty soon.
and I just sat back in my chair like oh man, I hadn't said anything for a good 30 seconds, and I get back up and I'm like, all right, just jump back into it like you didn't say anything.
Right,
And my boss, Red, the guy who I told you about, who was Joe's trainer and my mentor,
right,
he wasn't listening because normally they have a monitor in the back. Even at indie shows, there's a monitor in
right.
the back that's mic'd up so you can see what's going on, and he wasn't there. And my phone's blowing up because my friends are like, dude, you said fuck, you said fuck, you said fuck. And I'm like, yeah, man, remind me later to tell Red I fucked up so he can edit it, because Red was great. He edited everything. He made all our videos, all of our DVDs, all the art. He even designed the tag team belts that they still use in that company.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so the show goes and it's a big show and everybody's happy. I fucking forget to tell him that I said fuck, right?
Right.
And so 2 weeks go by and we're about to go to another show. And he's like, Lalo, come here. I'm like, yeah, man, what's up, dude? Why the fuck didn't you tell me you said fuck on the goddamn camera? Oh shit, Red, my bad, bro. Dude, I meant to tell you, I already finished the fucking DVD. Now I gotta throw it all
Oh,
away and I gotta go back and re-edit it and burn another. I burned 10 copies of that fucking DVD already. And it's
damn.
not like imagine if he would have not caught it. And he said the only reason he caught it is because he was testing that first one and listening to it while the others were burning. So we had to stop that, throw away 10 DVDs, go back to the
Throw it away? Are you
edit.
serious?
Yeah. So he was like, he kept one. He said he kept one just to fuck with me about it. But he was like, man, I gotta suspend you. So I was suspended for a good couple of shows
Damn,
because
that sucks.
I got fucked up. So it was only because
Happens to everybody, I
yeah, he
guess.
had to set the example. So like I had to go and I could still set up the ring. I could still be there. I just
Well, that's
couldn't be
cool
on.
though.
Yeah, so I just couldn't be on camera for a couple weeks, and so I was sat there and I was all fucking boo boo faced during the match. I couldn't fucking sit. I couldn't do. I couldn't even work the music. I couldn't be out behind the curtain. So I'd sit in
They're
the
not even
back.
behind the curtain?
No, I know I couldn't go out in front of the curtain. I had
Oh,
to
in
stay
front of the
behind the
curtain.
curtain. I had to stay behind the curtain and just sit there and fucking.
Right.
So the only reason I got off suspension early is because my friend Brandon, he was going up for the heavyweight championship in the company. They booked an angle where he was going to work a 2 out of 3 falls match with Scorpio Sky, who's in
Ooh.
AEW.
Right.
And he was like, look, Red, I know you're pissed at Lalo. I know he fucked up, but I have this big match coming up. I will not wrestle this match without Lalo on the mic. He will
Wow,
add
dude.
so much to that I need him on it. And he was like, dude, I told him a month, and I got to stick to it. He's like, look, you trust me, right? He's like, yes, of course I trust you. He's like, Lalo will add money to the match. When you say that magic word, when you say money to a fucking promoter,
Right.
then they hop all over it. Like, it
Right.
doesn't matter if you, like, run around with your dick out. You're like, brother, it's going to make money. It's going to fucking draw. It's going to pop the crowd. They're going to say, okay, at least give it a heart on then, so it looks good, brother. Come on.
Right.
So Brandon went to Red and he was like, look, man, Lalo's got to be on it. And he was like, bring him over here. So we went back there and Red was, I'm short. I'm like 5'2" for your listeners who don't know.
Right.
And Red was a good, just solid, like 5'10", 5'11", maybe 6 foot tall. Big red-headed motherfucker. At least he looked that tall to me. He wasn't really that tall in life, but when you're short and you're scared of someone, because that motherfucker was intimidating, he looked about 7 feet tall.
Dude,
Actuality,
everybody's taller than us if they're bigger, dude.
In real life, Red was probably about 5'7", 5'8", like dead ass truth. Like he was about that tall.
Oh,
but when you're sitting there and he's yelling at you, he's standing at 6'2", 500 pounds. And he had a big, long red ponytail with a big, glowing fucking red beard, right? He looked like a dwarf from World of Warcraft. Like, true, like, swear to God.
I was going to say like Sheamus. I want to say like Sheamus.
Yeah, well, that too. That too. But, so he's sitting there, he's like, I'm going to tell you this right now. If you ever fuck up like that again on camera, if you don't tell me, I swear to God, I'll never let you back in here again. He's like, the only reason you're going to be out on that mic is because Brandon asked for you. I was like, I appreciate it. I promise it'll never happen again. He's like, it better fucking not. Because I swear to God, I'll beat the shit out of you. Like, I'll beat the shit out of you. And I was like, nope, no problem, brother, no problem. So he walked away, and I'm scared as fuck. And then the show goes on, and I do the commentary, and it you know, to my own horn, it went great. The match was fucking perfect. It was brilliant. It did exactly what it was supposed to do. And
You have that DVD?
Fuck, dude, somewhere. I can find you a link to the YouTube for sure. I know that for sure. So it went off great. It worked perfect. And Brandon was like, thank you so much. You know, I talked to Red about it. You know, he said the same thing. He won't ever tell you that it worked out, but he knows it worked out and it's going to add to it. And it was one of our better selling DVDs, not just necessarily because of me, because I'll never take credit for what the boys do in the ring.
Right,
but
right.
with everything to it, I always heard this from my mentor Red and from my trainer Jesse. They were always like, you add the salt and pepper to the steak, you know, so you add just that little bit. You know, you're not the fucking main course. Don't ever think you are, but you make it taste better, you know. And that's what Red told me. So a couple months go by, and me and Red are back to normal. He's all good with me. We're all cool. And he pulls me aside. He's like, hey, remember when we fucked up a few months ago? I'm like, yeah, man, I'm sorry. I didn't. He's like, I want you to know something. Only reason that I didn't give up on you then is because you are a good dude and you have talent. He's like, you see how many guys that I don't ever fucking talk to? And I was like, yeah, man, you don't talk to quite a few people. He's like, because I don't give a fuck about them. They're never going to do shit. Right. He's like, you have potential, so I'll waste my time on you. Just don't fuck up again. And that was the kind of dude Red was. You know what I mean? That's the kind of thing that happens, you know, in the business a lot. You know, you get those guys that help you out and everything like that. But I tell that big, long story because I had that freedom that, you know, a lot of the guys that are in AEW, they have that freedom to do whatever they want. And when you have that freedom, it's like gold to you. So more times than not, you'll see guys like not sign these big WWE contracts because they don't want to be, you know, a cookie cutter wrestler where, you know, John Cena does the same 5 fucking things every match. Roman Reigns does the same bullshit 5 fucking things every match. Right. But if you watch an AEW match, you see a different match every single time. You know, you don't see fucking Hulk Hogan, who's a fucking piece of shit, and I hate him. I fucking hate Hulk Hogan.
I'll drink to that.
Yeah, exactly. Every time Hulk Hogan did this whole like, you knew what was going to happen. The fucking match is going to be over. You could set your watch to it. The minute you're like,
you can win money on it.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I bet you the match is going to be over in the next 2 minutes. You know what I mean? You knew it, and it's boring. So, but you see a show like AEW, and you see these guys there, you're not going to get the same match. Yeah, you get the finisher, you get the signature maneuver, but you don't know how you're going to get there. And that's why that kind of company is a lot more fun to work with. That freedom means a lot. And I guarantee you, because you're going to get into it, that company is going to be the one you want to watch, especially because you see these guys that are just hungry and got a lot to prove, and they have a lot of freedom to do it.
No, man, no. I appreciate you. I appreciate you telling me all that story because, man, that was freaking very hella fucking interesting. I loved it. I loved it. And I never heard it. And I'm pretty sure all the podcast listeners, hopefully, they do like that story because I liked it and I heard it for the first time here right now on this episode 21. And so, you know what? I'm sorry if my co-hosts Warren and Andreas they never came back. I'm pretty sure something came up. I hope they come on the next podcast.
Yeah, man, for sure.
But no, man, no. I love the story. That was amazing. You pretty much you gave an insight of what goes on since you've been on behind the scenes. Which, you know what, I like when you said that a wrestler. So you know what, I gotta have Lalo on here. That right there, man, that's humbling, man. It's humbling as hell.
It really
awesome.
Is, dude.
That's
like,
awesome.
Yeah, like I remember when I heard that, like, I'm an arrogant son of a bitch. I'll be the first person to tell you that I'm a conceited fucking cunt.
You sound like me, cousin.
But yeah, it's all favelas, cousin. We're all like that. But when I heard that, and I was blown away. Like, I love to hear people. I'm not gonna bullshit. I love to hear people tell me I'm good at something. Like, my fiance nods her head every time, and she's like, "Fuck yeah, you do, motherfucker. You love that shit." But
same. The same.
Yeah, exactly. And for Brandon had been in the business for a good couple years already, and he'd been places and done things, never really big yet, but he'd been around. And for him to be like, look, man, I really enjoy your work so much that I want you to be a part of this special moment for me, because it's not just for the fans. When you're a wrestler, when you're a worker, when you're one of the boys, you put together this body of work for yourself too, because you're trying to sell yourself. You're trying to make yourself look good. You know what I mean? Wrestlers are literally the biggest fucking divas you'll ever meet in your life, because they're always trying to get themselves over.
Right.
You know what I mean? They're always about themselves. Yeah, they're about the business, because you got to take care of the business for it to take care of you. And you want to take care of your opponent, because if they look like shit, you look like shit.
Right.
But you're always out to make yourself look better.
Right.
So yeah, Brandon was probably, and I love Brandon to this day. He's one of the nicest guys I've ever met in the business and helped me a lot. I know that he was trying to make himself look good in that, but to make himself look good, he needed me. And for that to happen, it was very humbling. And even it's funny because my fiance always tells me, she's like, why do you do this one fucking thing when everybody says they like your work or that you did a good job, you always kind of bow your head a little bit and say thank you so much. You know what I mean? It's like,
right.
like I'm fucking subservient to them. And it was something Red always told me. He's like, the biggest compliment you can ever get in this business is for one of the boys to tell you that you did a good job. So when you get that from the boys, acknowledge it, shake a hand, nod your head, say thank you, really respect that. So for when I would get that, I would always do that. And it was one of those things that it was just beaten into my head that the business was always about respect. You always respected your opponent. You always respected even the fans, even though, you joke about it, fucking Marks, look at the fucking idiots over there.
Right.
If it wasn't for them, you wouldn't the ability to work. And I would always take the time, and I always tell my fiance, if ever I got famous, I would always be super cool to fans. And I always would. There was always these little kids that would run around and, hi, how are you? I'm like, hey, buddy, how are you? Are you enjoying the show? Oh, man, good job. Make sure you cheer really loud for this guy. He's cool. That guy's mean, though. Don't listen. He's
Right.
a bad guy, he's a bad one. And, yeah, it was always funny. There was always a group of fans that would come, and oh god, what was her name? Miss Rose or Mama Rose or Mama Rose. Mama Rose was this really nice, sweet, fucking older black lady, man. She was the fucking nicest. She'd come to the shows every Friday night, and even on Saturday during day shows when we'd be like out in Purdue in the middle of the fucking heat in summer.
Right.
Her ass would be front row with all 20 of her fucking kids, and then not 20, there's only 20 people, but I mean, what do you mean?
Yeah, I know.
She'd bring all her kids and her grandkids, and then she'd sit front row, and she would love it, man. She would pop, and she would scream, and, yeah, you get that son, bitch, don't you hurt my baby. Well, I mean, she was the best, man. And I would always walk out the curtain, because they would give me and my partner an intro.
Right.
And I'd walk out to the curtain, and every time I saw her, she would always smile, get up from where she sat, and gave me the biggest hug in the world. And every time after shows or during intermissions or whatever, she'd be like, oh, baby, I could hear you. I listen to you. I can hear you from the stage, and I listen. And, and she'd sit there like this, like with her one ear towards the stage and watching the show. And, she's like, oh, baby, you make it so good. You so, I'm not trying to sound like racist, or that's literally how she talks. Baby, you sound so good. It was so fun. And, that son bitch over there, he need to learn his lesson. He put his hands on you, man. I'm gonna take my shoe off. I'm gonna whoop his ass. And it was always so fun to see
Nice
that,
ladies, man.
Yeah, it was always fun to see that the interaction with the fans, and then they appreciated what you did. And we had this other fan who was always coming in. He was mentally handicapped, but man, if he wasn't sharp as a tack when it came to the shows. And there was just always those people that made the show fun and made it better, and that gave you that compliment of like, you sounded good, and you thank you so much, I appreciate it. It was always fun, and it always was humbling, because you got to give those people 2 or 3 hours of an escape from reality. You know what I mean?
Right.
They could have went to the movies. They could have went and stayed home and watched the DVD or Blu-ray or streamed whatever. It wasn't streaming at the time, because
right.
fucking old days. But they could have stayed home, but they chose to be there. They chose to make, their memory of their Friday night with you.
Right.
And it was always humbling. And you could see the difference between the guys that were humbled by it and the guys who thought they were better. Now, we used to work in San Bernardino and fucking Covina. Those are two no places in the world when you think about it. You know what I mean? And we used to joke about, oh, dude, he's Covina famous. So, yeah, he'd pop a crowd in Covina with like the 100 people that would show up to our shows. But then that same guy couldn't do dick shit when he got to go to Mexico and work in front of like 10,000 people. You know what I mean? And so you always had to remember it didn't matter whether you were working for the 100 people in Covina, the 10 people, because sometimes you'd work for 10 people. You know what I mean? And it sucked, but you had to go out there and work just as hard for those 10 people. Like, we used to do shows at the Stardust roller rink, cousin.
Wow, I remember that Stardust.
Yeah, we used to do.
Really? You used to go to Stardust?
Yeah, my fiance just reminded me about it right now.
Holy shit, Nikes.
So we used to work the shows at the Stardust sometimes. So the ring, literally, the ring would be on the roller rink. And I remember our promoter, he'd be like, brother, you got to make sure you put the fucking pad down. You put the pad down, you don't fuck with the fucking floor. I ain't paying for this fucking roller rink, goddammit. Make sure you do it right. God damn it, Lalo, you tell those motherfuckers they better do the shit. All right, Jess, all right, man, we got it. Come fucking. Oh, don't tell me to come to fuck that. God damn it, that's a $10,000 roller rink. I ain't got $10,000 fucking dollars. Let's take $10,000 out of your fucking ass. All right. Jess.
Wow, so much energy.
Right, like, dude, Jesse, I'll say this for Jesse. He's a promoter, so he's always out for a promoter. A good promoter's interest, which you have to be. You can't be a nice guy and be a promoter. You just can't. You got to be a dick. But man, Jesse was energetic and he was funny. So we would do these shows at the roller rink, and Jesse would always have us put out flyers. We'd put out like 10,000 flyers all over Purdue. And Purdue, man, I would never go to 2nd Street. I would never go to Waterman Avenue down there by Sierra. Like, you know what I mean? I wouldn't go to those scary fucking places, but we used to put flyers up all over the wall of all the telephone poles and put them out of businesses and go to like bakers and, everywhere. We'd put these flyers everywhere.
Oh, bakers. I miss bakers.
And we do the show, and sometimes you get what's pre-sale where you sold over the internet on the internet, and sometimes you just get the walk-up. Man, I remember this one show.
Wait, cousin. Wait, hold on. Give me. I want you to give me 1 second on that show. Give me 1 second. I'll be right back. I'll be right back on podcast listeners. Be right back.
Sure.